Hi everybody, this week's class is going to be about basic camera movements, and I will have just demonstrated this in class, but I'm going to do it again in this video so that you can use it at home or you can use it later on in the class. Put your headphones on and just listen up. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to hit Control and Enter to run the animation. This is a little bit slow because the background file is actually quite large on this. It's 8K in size. It's 7,000 plus pixels across. So there we go. So we wait a second, we zoom out, we pan to our right, we zoom back in, we wait for the bike to hit center frame, and then we track it off picture. There we go. Basic enough. So that's what we want to do. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to start a brand new project and show you how to do it from scratch. So we go File and New, as usual. We click on Full HD and we go Create. And the first thing as always is to go Fit in Window so we know how big our stage is. Now we're going to want 3 layers in this, 2 of which we're going to make. First one's going to be background. Here we go. We'll make another one and we're going to call it speeder. And the third layer we're not going to make at all. The camera's going to make that automatically in a second. So when I click on this camera layer, the first thing it does is it'll create a brand new layer and introduces to camera controls, which only appear when we have the camera layer selected. So I'm going to click on this. You'll see a new layer here has appeared. I have explained the motion of the camera in here, but basically what you have is you've got a camera with a magnifying glass, which represents zoom, and a camera with a curved arrow, which represents bank. So it basically tilts to the left and tilts to the right. And that's it. So we're going to come back to that in a second now. Now, we want a 10-second animation at 30 frames per second. So I'm going to go all the way up to frame 300. I'm going to select the layers. I'm going to hit F6. I'm going to actually insert a frame on those. Not a keyframe, pardon me. So that's a 10-second animation at 30 frames. So what we want to do is we want to bring in our images. So we go File, Import to Library. Now I'm going to select 8K Planet 1 and Speeder PNG. I'm not giving you Speeder PNG. I'm going to give you the Speeder bike image, because what you're going to be required to do is cut the image out with the selection tool, as we did in class last week. You're going to cut it out in Photoshop and bring it in, and it's good. It's good experience. It's good practice, because you're going to have to do an awful lot of that when we come to our project. So I go Open, and there the 2 of them are. Now I'm going to zoom out here to 5% to give you there's our stage. I'm going to click on the first layer of the first frame of our background and bring in the image. I'm going to see how big it is. There you go. It's absolutely huge, but that's 8K for you. Now the reason we're doing that is I don't want to just bring somebody to bring in a HD image and then stretch it, because as you know it degrades the image and we lose quality, and we're not about that at all. So we want to animate our camera, not our background. We could do that if we wish, but we're going to animate our camera this time. So I'm going to click on the camera layer and right click and go Camera Motion Twin. I'm going to do this in seconds. So I'll go up to frame 30 and I hit F6, which is our insert a keyframe shortcut. And for those 30 frames, for that 1 second, we want it to be still. So we're not going to do anything there. But what we will do is we're going to go up to frame 90. And we're going to put in another one. We press F6, and this time what we want to do is we want to zoom out. Okay, so we're going to zoom out about that much there, and then we'll have to move our image like so. So let's say I zoom out to there. Now I can zoom in on this a little bit. Hang on a second. There we go. Wow, that's a bit too much. Let's go 25. Okay, so we get an idea where we are. Okay, so we're up to frame 90 and we have zoomed out. What we now want to do is go up to 120. Now you can make this up as you go. I just set it in seconds. Hit F6, because what we want to do now is we want to pan across. So I'm going to pan across like so. If you press shift while you're panning across, it'll keep a straight line, but it's entirely up to you. Now we're going to go up to frame 150. And we're going to hit F6 again, because this time what we want to do is we want to zoom in. Now it'll automatically center, so we will have to drag it back, and it will do the same again. And there we go. And that's pretty much about enough for us. Now after this, the bike is going to come in and hit center frame, and then we want to follow it up that kind of path type road thing. So what I do now is I go all the way down to our last frame, and I click on the last frame, and then I drag the camera up to there. Okay, so when I play that now, it should mirror the the animation that I showed you earlier. So, still for a second, pan out, pan across, zoom out, pan across, zoom in, and then a slow track up that path. Okay, so that's good. That's pretty much what we wanted. So what we want to do now is we want to bring the bike in. So as you can see, we stop here. We could, if we wanted to, actually stop the camera there for a second, right? What we're going to do is around here, we're going to have the camera come in. So by the time we actually start following it, we want the bike to be center frame now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly go back to the last keyframe and then click on the speeder layer and go create. Oh, hang on. Better bring our object in. So I'm going to put a keyframe in here and I'm going to drag in our bike. Oh, we'll have to zoom out because the bike is quite large and probably miles away. So hang on a second. Ah, there's the bike. Holy God. It's in the next county. Okay, now we can zoom back in again to the 25. So we have our bike. Now it's way too big. So on this frame, what we're going to do is we're going to click on our bike and we go modify, transform, scale. And we're going to make the bike really, well, not too small, obviously, because we'll be zooming in on it in a second. And we're going to leave it just off there. And we want to see exactly where the camera goes into. So by the time we get to here, we want that bike to be center frame. So all we do is we right click anywhere in here and we go create a motion tween. And we say OK. We click on the exact frame and we hit F6 and then we drag the bike into center frame like so. So now as we're zooming in, the bike will be coming into center frame and that's cool. Now all we have to do is move the bike in tandem with the camera so they'll track in the same direction. So if I click on the last frame of the bike, now we might have to zoom out here. Oh, there we go. Is it going to let us do this? Okay, now it's going to be too large, so what we're going to have to do is when we get up here, we're going to, because the bike is moving away from us, we're going to go modify, transform and scale, and we're going to make that bike smaller. Now the other thing we're going to do is, and this is interesting, we're going to go over to properties for this last frame. We're going to click on filters and we're going to click on blur and we're going to set a small blur of just 1 and 1. What that will do is it will blur the bike ever so slightly. So let's just go back now all the way to our first frame and we'll see how this looks when we just play it before we actually run it. Zoom out, pan across, zoom in, track the bike. Alright, it's not the fastest bike in the world, and actually the one I had a bit more pace, but that's okay. You're going to be using, when it comes to it, very different objects and very different camera techniques. This is just to let you know how easy it is to animate the camera. Okay, so get going with that. If you have any problems, let me know.